You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 14th of February. PM Modi, President Trump announces new trade and defense agreements in Washington meet. Pakistan fumes as US-India joint statement demands action on terrorists. And dozens hurt in suspected car ramming attack by Afghan national in Germany's Munich. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday announced that the United States and India have set a target of doubling their bilateral trade to $500 billion by 2030. He stated that both nations would work toward finalizing a mutually beneficial trade agreement soon. Speaking at a joint press conference following his meeting with US President Donald Trump in Washington, Modi emphasized collaboration in artificial intelligence and semiconductors, along with efforts to establish robust supply chains for strategic minerals. President Trump, addressing the press conference, stated that the United States would increase military sales to India, starting in 2025, with plans to eventually supply F-35 fighter jets. He also announced a new agreement under which India will import more US oil and gas to help reduce the trade deficit between the two countries.
Friends, आज हमने द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को 2030 तक 2 गुना से भी अधिक बढ़ाकर $500 बिलियन तक पहुंचाने का लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया है। हमारी टीमें एक पारस्परिक लाभकारी ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट को शीघ्र संपन्न करने पर काम करेंगे। भारत की ऊर्जा सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करने में हम ऑयल तथा गैस ट्रेड को बल देंगे।
Starting this year, we'll be increasing military sales to India by many billions of dollars. We're also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35 stealth fighters. In 2017, my administration revived and reinvigorated the Quad security partnership. In our meeting today, the Prime Minister and I reaffirmed that strong cooperation among the United States, India, Australia, and Japan. And it's crucial, really, to maintaining peace and prosperity, tranquility, even in the Indo-Pacific.
In a joint statement issued after the meeting, both leaders condemned Pakistan over terrorism-related concerns. They urged greater cooperation to counter terrorist threats and prevent heinous acts like the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. The statement called on Pakistan to expeditiously bring the perpetrators of the 26/11 Mumbai and Pathankot attacks to justice and ensure that its territory is not used for cross-border terrorism. Earlier in the press conference, President Trump also announced the extradition of Tahawwur Rana, a Pakistani origin individual convicted in the US for supporting the Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist group. Rana, who has been serving a sentence in a US federal prison, was implicated in facilitating the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. Days after Chief Minister N Biren resigned from his post, the Indian government on Thursday imposed a precedence rule in Manipur and the State Assembly placed under suspension animation. This closes a chapter and opens another in the state roiled by ethnic violence since May 2023. President Draupadi Murmu's decision, announced hours after the two houses of parliament adjourned to meet on March 10th for the remainder of the budget session, followed a report from Manipur Governor Ajay Kumar Bhalla. Before President's rule was imposed, a security plan was prepared and the state police and intelligence agencies were monitoring movements of certain individuals to prevent any untoward incident. The BJP-led government in the state collapsed earlier in February when Biren resigned, shortly after returning to Imphal from New Delhi, where he held talks with Union Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP President JP Nadda. Earlier, the Congress had threatened to bring a no-confidence motion against Singh and his government during the assembly session. The assembly elections in the state are not due until 2027. The current strength was 59 following the death of an MLA last month. Hours after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Donald Trump issued a joint statement calling on Pakistan to prevent its territory from being used for militant attacks, Islamabad reacted with dismay over being directly named. The statement urged Pakistan to bring to justice the perpetrators of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks and the Pathankot airbase attack, while ensuring its soil is not used for cross-border terrorism. Reacting sharply, Pakistan's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Shafqat Ali Khan condemned the statement as one-sided, misleading and contrary to diplomatic norms. He expressed surprise at Pakistan being singled out despite its alleged counter-terrorism cooperation with the United States. Khan also voiced deep concerns over the planned transfer of advanced military technology to India, claiming such moves accentuate military imbalances in the region and undermine strategic stability. Tensions between India and Pakistan have remained high for decades, with New Delhi consistently accusing Islamabad of harboring and aiding terrorist groups that orchestrate attacks on Indian soil. Pakistan, however, denies these allegations, claiming it only offers diplomatic and moral support to Kashmiris.
We considered the Pakistan-specific reference in the Indo-US joint statement of 13 February 2025 as one-sided, misleading, and contrary to diplomatic norms. We are surprised that the reference has been added to the joint statement, notwithstanding Pakistan's counter-terrorism cooperation with the United States.
At least 30 people were hurt, some of them seriously, after a car driven by an Afghan national plugged into a crowd in Germany's Munich on Thursday in what the state premier said was probably an attack, putting security back in focus before next week's federal election. The suspected attack came hours before international leaders, including US Vice President J.D. Vance and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, were due to arrive in the southern German city for the Munich Security Conference. Reports suggest that the suspect has been arrested and was living in Germany legally. Immigration and security issues have dominated campaigning ahead of the February 23rd election, especially after other violent incidents in recent weeks, with polls showing the centre-right conservatives leading, followed by the far-right. Germany has deported more than a dozen people charged with criminal acts.
Es hat heute einen mutmaßlichen furchtbaren Anschlag hier in München gegeben gegen Verdi-Mitglieder. Deswegen möchte ich auch sagen, dass ich an erster Stelle an die vielen Verletzten und Schwerstverletzten denke und meine besten Genesungswünsche übermittle und hoffe, dass alle auch wieder genesen können. Ich bete dafür, dass das gelingen kann.
Dhaka has submitted the necessary documents to New Delhi for the extradition of ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina under the prisoner exchange agreement, Bangladesh announced on Thursday. Addressing a media briefing, Bangladesh Foreign Ministry spokesperson Rafiqul Alam stated that the diplomatic correspondence was sent to India based on both political and diplomatic considerations. He added that the Bangladesh would await a political and diplomatic resolution regarding Sheikh Hasina's repatriation. Referring to the recently released UN report on government actions during last year's student protests, Alam noted that since the report is publicly available, Bangladesh hopes it will stir global conscience and expects India to consider the matter and extend its cooperation. Sheikh Hasina has been residing in India since fleeing Bangladesh amid a mass uprising against her administration. She faces multiple charges in Bangladesh over her handling of the student protests. The interim government has formally requested her extradition from New Delhi, but India has yet to respond to the request. A day after Gautam Adani pulled out wind energy project from Sri Lanka, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa on Friday raised concerns that foreign investors are leaving the country. Premadasa called Adani's backing off a serious situation and said everything must take place in a competitive and transparent manner, but foreign investors are hesitating in investing in Sri Lanka. It, however, amounts to a win for Sri Lanka's President, Anurakumara Dissanayake, who vowed to cancel the project, calling it corrupt before being elected in September 2024, although his government later expressed willingness to renegotiate it. The Adani Group in a letter said that the decision to pull out of the ambitious project that would have seen investments of about $1 billion was taken out after Sri Lanka decided to appoint 2 fresh committees to renegotiate the project proposal. The wind farm project in northern Sri Lanka had remained under the scanner from the time it was approved by the Gotabaya Rajapaksa administration in 2022 without a competitive tender process. The Ranil Wickremesinghe administration also took the project ahead despite serious concerns raised by the opposition over the company's backdoor entry into Sri Lanka's energy sector. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend.